There we go.
Welcome to the Goodwin Boxing YouTube channel. With me, I've got Taiwo Mosuro. How are you, Taiwo?
I'm good, sir. Good afternoon. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Taiwo, you are 2-0 as a pro,
Yeah.
progressing nicely, getting a couple of little challenges in, got your first stoppage in your last fight. How's
Yep.
professional boxing?
How can I say? It's completely different. It's not the norm, should I say, compared to amateur boxing. But it's a challenge, and it's a good challenge too, because it challenges you in different ways: lifestyle, boxing, coaching, eating right, sleeping right. So everything goes well. Everything is just looking balanced right now.
It's
Trying to
difficult,
manage
isn't
it,
it?
shall I say?
As you say, sort of the amateur side of boxing, people turn up, fight, go away, train, come back and fight again. The pros,
Yeah,
so
true.
many pros say about that challenge of trying to fit life around it and then sell tickets and the challenges that come with it all. It's not just turning up and fighting.
No, I feel like that's where some I don't know. That's where some supporters always tend to get it wrong, complaining, especially if they say, "Oh, why are you not making weight? Why can't you make weight?" There's many disadvantages to trying to make weight as well, especially when it comes to it is mostly dieting, sleeping on time, and if you especially because someone like me, I work full time, so working full time and trying to box full time is completely a madness,
Yeah.
because you have to wake up early to go to work, finish work, then go straight to boxing, then go to boxing, and straight home, and rinse and repeat every single day. So it's more about timing, prioritizing what's important, and basically just managing your time effectively.
Yeah,
Is my one.
which isn't a skill that you get taught as there's no amateur
Nah.
boxing club teaching you about time management.
No, with amateur, you just turn up unless you have a competition card. You just turn up when you can, and you train until your coach tells you you got a fight coming up. So you got to kind of like you got to make sure you're ready for that kind of fight, that competition. And the thing is, the weight is not that much, but it's not so disciplined than it is in pros.
Yeah.
Because with amateurs, you can get away with a bit of like 2-3 kg off, whereas with pros, if you're not dead on weight, then it's either you pay a fine or there's a problem.
Yeah. You ain't fighting if that's too bad.
Yeah.
Talk us through how many amateurs did you have and where did you box?
I've had 20, I think 23 or 24 amateur fights. And then I boxed, first of all, started at Peacocks with a private club, which is called Omnibus Loxford, which is owned by Tony Sisse. But we trained underneath Peacocks as well. And from there, I moved jobs at that time. So it was taking me even longer to get to him. So for that reason, I moved to one of his old friends that owned the gym back in Vauxhall in London, which was owned by Don Davis. And that was where I was at. That's where I finished my amateur, fought for them for a few times, and I even went on to England. I won the nationals with them as well. Then I went on to England to fight for the Tri Nations, and from there I became second. I came second place, got the silver medalist, which I'm not happy with. The same guy beat me twice. His name is Adam Mallory, actually. I know I'm not, I'll say his name because he deserves it. He's fighting in the Olympics right now, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's representing Nigeria. So
Wow, is he
he
still
beat
in
me
the
twice.
Olympics? We're recording this at semi-final times. Is he still in it?
You know what? I haven't actually had time to keep up with it because of so much happening for me right now. But I'll look back into it today. I'm actually not doing that much later on today, so I'll look back into it and see how far he's come. I hope he gets gold. I'm rooting for him. I don't see any boxer as my enemy because we're both in the same sport for the same reason. So I don't have no reason to have any enemies behind my back.
Yeah. So you had quite an accomplished amateur career then. That's
Yes.
you know,
I can say that with a hand on my chest because I had a good record actually. I only had 5 losses, five
which
or
is
six losses.
incredible. Like as an amateur,
Yeah,
that's a
as
very,
an amateur. Yeah.
very good
And the thing
record.
is, I was in cruiserweight. I wasn't in light heavy, the weight class that I'm at right now in the pros. I was actually cruiserweight in amateurs, and it's very difficult that weight class. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Oh my god.
When did you finish? Because you sort of turned pro as you're approaching 30.
Mhm.
When did you finish your amateur career?
Uh, I turned pro last year, in October or November,
Yeah.
and I finished my amateur career about after the Tri Nations for England last year. That was when
Okay.
I finished. That was usually, I was gonna do another one, but obviously I've been told that I'm getting older. If I'm gonna do this sport, I got to turn over now and start building myself up at the age that I'm at. Because I'm at a good age apparently. I'm 29, so they said this is the perfect age for you to really get a move on with it. Because the longer you leave it, the longer you progress. Like the slower your progress is because of my age. So, that was when I finished amateurs, and then I went to turn over with TM14
Yeah.
promotions. You know, more proud, not on by more proud.
Yeah, no, Mo.
I was with them for a little bit. But the things are, I never really had a fight with them because they kept on cancelling. They had 2 cancellations, and one they took me out of it because too many people were pulling out of that fight. And my first fight was actually underneath Goodwin, Steve Goodwin's promotion, and that went well. And I had another fight waiting for me with TM14, and that didn't go so well. And I said, you know what, I can't be waiting for you to make a decision based on my career because you're giving me too much hit and miss. I don't know what's gonna happen next. I'll tell you one thing, you tell me another.
Yeah.
Another thing happens. And I said, you know what, let me just start again. So I messaged Mo and I said, look, Mo, I appreciate what you're doing for me, but I feel like with the way things are going at the moment, I don't see myself progressing long term with you because you've had a lot of cancellations on my behalf at the moment, and that's not looking good. I should be on 7 fights right now. So I then spoke to Steve afterwards, and I said, Steve, I explained to him the situation, and he took me on. He was like, you know, I'll put a long-term deal with you, 3-year contract with you, and we'll go from there. So I've only had 1 fight, well, 2 fights, and then Steve Goodwin now. So the next one is 12th of October.
And how have you found that experience of working under or with Steve and Josh and everybody at the Goodwin camp?
They're good, man. They're good. In terms of communication, they always tell you what's going on. They always give you updates on what's happening. And Steve is never one to shy away from a question. You know, he never directs it to another thing. He tells you exactly how it is, when it is. And he also gives you like his opinions on things as well. And always tries to direct you to the right people when you need that kind of support. You know,
Nice.
Steve.
So,
With Josh, I kind of meet Josh in person most of the time. I speak to Steve on the phone more, and I speak to Josh in person when I see Josh, which is mostly fight nights or day before the fight night.
yeah. So in terms of when you've turned pro and you mentioned earlier about what weight you're going to be at.
Yeah.
And I realised for pros, sort of what weight they may be having their first couple of fights at may not necessarily be where they end up sort of fighting for titles when you start factoring in day before weigh-ins and such like. Have you got a weight that's your ideal category?
Yeah. Well, for me, I've been 86 to 90 kg all of my life even before amateurs. So I thought that was my weight. So when I was starting to understand the difference between weight classes, I was like, oh, because in amateurs, back when I started, 80 to 86 was light heavyweight. And anything above 86 to 90 is cruiserweight.
Yeah.
But now, as time went on, it's now changed. So now 79 to 81, I think, is light heavyweight. Anything after that, you're in the cruiserweight bracket. The cruiserweight bracket is quite big. It's from like 82 to like 96, 97, you know, and I'm just like, damn, I can't be that. Seeing the cruiserweight in this division, seeing the cruiserweight in this division, it's they're heavy and tall. I'm not as tall as I look. I'm 5'11". You know, that's not that tall. But you know, he said to me the best weight class for me to be in to dominate is light heavyweight. So I've had to, you know, meet a nutritionist and discuss how I can make my weight in that division.
And how have you found it? Is it because sort of as you said earlier?
Expensive. Expensive. What do you mean? It's very expensive because eating healthy is expensive, man. Oh my God. The amount of shopping you got to do, the amount of prep you got to do. That's another thing as well. It's time
It's
management.
time consuming as much as money consuming, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And this is where I feel like sponsorship comes in place because they kind of give you that balance in terms of timing because you don't got to worry too much about, spending too much because that's what the sponsors are there to support you for, support you in your journey and the things that you need for training and making weight and all of that kind of stuff like that. So for me, I'm working full time, so I'm kind of paying everything out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
At the moment.
And have you got,
So
while we're on that subject, have you got sponsors you want to give a mention to? Because it's always important. They're so vital. They're so vital, as you say, for small hall boxers.
yeah, right now I've only got three, but they're all on different. We have a different kind of agreement. There's no money involved with the sponsorship I've got with at the moment, and it's just more about supporting their business and trying to make it bigger than it is right now using my platform. So going on interviews and promoting them on Instagram, Facebook, all of the social medias that I'm on as well, and trying to make them more aware that this business is doing good things that can help you out, and just basically just trying to draw customers, basically.
Yeah, give them a shout out. Give them a shout out, Taiwo.
Yeah, the first one is VA Garments. They specialize in fashion, clothing, shoes and stuff like that. So they kind of help me design my outfit, my boxing outfit and stuff like that. So they business is more selling. If you go on the website, vagarments.co.uk, I think, or vagarments.com, and you see what they do on there as well. The other one is the old yoga club. That one is just a yoga company. So they kind of help me out in terms of stretching, breathing techniques and, all that kind of stuff in terms of making me more flexible for my fight, not having no pains or anything like that. And the other one is what's it called? It's the old chimney suite. So they're more about, if you have a chimney in your house, if you have anything up, basically anything to do with roofing, they help you with that side of things as well.
Excellent. So if anyone needs any of those services, go and find those companies, support Taiwo's career, tell them where you heard about them.
Yeah, go on, you do that. I'll give you the link so you can put them in your description.
Yeah.
I'll give you the Instagram page and stuff like that so you can put it in the description and just so that people can go directly to it, Instagram page as well.
Yeah, because it's always a collaboration, right? Like these people are
Always.
supporting you, and it's important boxers support them back in return. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to your career, then, as an aspirational light heavyweight, sort of somebody who's going to be taking part. Are you finding there's lots of opportunities for sort of high quality, high level sparring around? You're based in London, right? There's plenty of light heavyweight.
I used to live in London. I moved down to Kent. But I go to London to spar. That's mostly where my sparring takes place. I've sparred a lot of people. I've sparred people like Chef Clark, Jamie Smith, Craig Richards. I sparred what name can I say? I sparred I gotta look at my pictures on my phone.
For those names alone,
Devon Miller. Sorry?
Those names alone, though, like Chef Clark, Craig Richards, Jamie Smith.
Yeah. There was even that time I was meant to spar Callum Billam Smith at one point, but I wasn't able to make that, unfortunately, for the day he was requesting me. But hopefully that time will come again, and I'll put him in the seat.
Is that a promise?
That's a promise. That's a promise. You see, my kind of style of fighting. Yeah, I've got two big inspiration in boxing. That's Mike Tyson and Canelo Alvarez, right? So my style is I try to put both of them in one to make my style. I try to put a bit of aggression and a bit of defense, and especially with the slips and defensive work, I try to make that my style. I take some of Mike Tyson's work, I take some of Canelo Alvarez's work, and I make it mine. So that's what I feel like will make me a bit of a different boxer compared to a lot of people. I've seen a lot of boxing. There's been a lot of boxing lately this year so far, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. I got my eyes on a few targets, but I can't call out the names just yet because I'm not at that level I need to
Call them out. Call them out.
Oh,
Do it. Give some names out. All right,
my
let's say
first one.
let's say yeah, go on, go on.
Okay, I'll just say one. Ben Whittaker. I like him, but I don't like him. Ben Whittaker.
He's polarizing, isn't he? Right. So people either love him and his style and his arrogance and
Yeah,
his
yeah,
flashness,
yeah,
or it winds them up. But what you think is that a sort of realistic 12-month target, do you think?
yeah. I mean, hopefully, if I can get more fights with Steve within the next, I don't know, let's say 6, 7 months from now. I've got two of them this year so far, and then hopefully by three, maybe by seventh fight, I can start really aiming for people saying I want to fight this person because I do need more experience, and I'm not trying to give myself that high rise, but I need more experience in the pro game, and I need to make more connections, build more networking before I can even make that happen. So I'll humble myself a little bit and not go too far ahead of myself, and just keep at my level at the moment, just right now, and just do what I'm doing. The fights will speak for itself.
Yeah, but that's all right. Sort of Ben Whittaker, he's not too far on in his career.
Yeah.
It's probably a good time to get him. Nobody knows what his ceiling is. Um, and have
I
you
think
sort
I've seen some weakness in his work, in his fighting style, and like I said, he's a great fighter. I'm not trying to diminish his work. He's really a
no,
good fighter, a good boxer and stuff. But I feel like everybody has a weakness, and the moment somebody finds that weakness, I'm going to use that against you. And with me, I tend to find the weakness in my opponent within the first round, first 3 minutes. And I've been boxing for a very long, like 15 years. I could say I've been boxing for since I was in year 8, year 9. I've been boxing, and I'm 29 now.
and you sort of describe yourself as that mix of Canelo and Mike Tyson, which is two pretty good boxers, right? To model yourself.
Yeah.
So for those that haven't seen, then so I'm sort of assuming we're talking quite a tucked up, compact, sort of throwing a lot of
Hmm.
hooks, getting
Yeah,
in.
I mean, not a lot of hooks because hooks are predictable. If you're finding an experienced fighter, they're very predictable if they can read your movements. So there have to be another way you can come across that without looking too predictable in the opponent's eyes. And like I said, there's ways that I can hit you without you even knowing you're hit. You
Right,
know,
Whitaker,
like I said,
there's your
you
warning.
got to watch me. You got to watch me in person for you to understand what I'm saying. I don't like saying too much of my moves because that's exposing my weaknesses or that's exposing myself. So it's better for you to come and watch me fight, for you to give that, so you can judge it yourself.
Yeah, there's your warning, Ben Whitaker. It's the it's the movement that you don't know about.
He's probably gonna watch this and be like, oh, here's another wannabe calling me out and stuff like that. But
So I
we'll
mean,
let time will tell.
yeah, exactly. Time will tell. So if you go forward, say 12 months from now,
Mhm,
as you said, sort of it was an ideal age to turn pro,
mhm,
hitting that sort of 30 age bracket, not too many miles on the clock, but plenty of
mhm.
experience as an amateur. Do
Yeah,
you feel like you benefit from being fast tracked at this point through to Southern area English titles?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
or do you still want some of those sort of traditional learning fights as a professional?
Nah, do you know what? I feel like with the experience I've got in amateurs and sparring these pros right now, I feel like that's also an experience. I feel like people don't understand that sparring pros that's bigger than you, that's more experienced than you. Sparring them in sparring is also experience. And if you can take that with you and take it into a fight, that's double the experience that you've gained already. And some people they seem to underestimate that even though you're sparring, doing camp, you're actually gaining knowledge as well. That's why you're doing it. So when you go to a fight, it's not just, oh, here's another boxer I got to fight. You've actually gained some experience from the sparring with the pros and whoever you're training with, to take into that fight. And for me, I feel like I do want to be fast tracked, but I also don't want it rushed.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful with how you move in the sport of boxing because moving too fast, then people will know you and be like, okay, here's another journeyman, shall I say? I don't want to be a journeyman. I want to be the main man. I want to be the highlight. I want to be the main fighter of a fight. That's my goal. That's my real goal. I want to be like the best. I can't say I want to be the best because being the best is being to criticism. Like there's a lot of boxers out there that want to be the best. So what makes me different?
Well,
That is
that's where you get the
that's
opportunity.
that every opportunity I can lay my hands on, I'll definitely take it. You know,
Yeah.
and I feel like what's his name? Steve said he's gonna give me for a title shot sometime next year. I don't know when. I think maybe just before summer.
So let's assume the Ben Whittaker fight maybe isn't attainable right now.
Hmm.
Are there any light heavyweights around the southern area scene that you sort of had an eye on that you think, not to call them out, but think that's someone that I'm probably going to end up with at a sort of southern area level? And do you sort of do any studying of potential sort of upcoming opponents, or just leave them be and then you work it out when you get to that level?
Um, I don't tend to study too much on my opponents just because every time you train, something changes. So what you watch might not be what you get. Just like amateurs, you never know who you're fighting. You could fight today, tomorrow, and Friday, so you never know who you're getting. So I try not to study too much because that's putting too much pressure on myself to try and perfect something that doesn't need to be perfected because that might not exist. You know, you have people like let's say Mayweather. He's a good inside fighter, but yet if he needs to fight in a distance, he can do that as well. Canelo as well. He's a good inside fighter, but yeah, if he needs to step back and fight on the back foot, he can do that as well. So you can never know what you're getting. Some people they're both southpaw and orthodox. So you might watch a video where they're fighting fully southpaw, and then you watch another video where they're fighting both stance. You never know what you're gonna get. So I try not to be too forward with watching my opponents because I don't want to confuse myself on what I'm gonna get in the fight when I'm gonna fight them eventually. So I tend to leave it a week or two before my opponents, and then see what I'm dealing with. Then because then I have to focus on me being a perfect fighter for myself and for my team.
So say someone like, say Steve gets a phone call next week and
Mhm.
Matchroom need an opponent for a Craig Richards, or Frank Warren needs an opponent for an Anthony Yard. Would you jump?
Anthony Yard. I've
Would
never
you?
spotted Anthony Yard actually as well.
I thought Anthony Yard doesn't spar. That was a story, wasn't it?
Oh, this was back when I was still in the amateurs though. I've spotted him a few times. Very, 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 very tough guy. Very
Yeah,
tough guy.
yeah, yeah.
Very
So
tough guy. His physique is ridiculous.
yeah, I
His
know.
body's hard as diamond.
So would you, if that phone call came, like Craig Richards had a fight lined up, is all fallen through, he needs an opponent for 3 weeks' time, you're preparing for another fight, would you take that? Would you jump at that opportunity, or do you see it as more that for those fights you'd rather have the proper preparation?
No, you take the opportunity because that's the risk of boxing. That's the risk you're willing to take to get to the level you need to get to. So, boxing is always a risk, especially when you're going into a fight, not knowing what's going to happen after 12 rounds, 6 rounds, 4 rounds, or 8 rounds, or 10 rounds. You never know what's going to happen after those rounds. So, boxing is a risk, and if you're willing to go to that distance, you might as well take it while it comes early. But then again, if you feel like you're not ready for that kind of opportunity, then don't risk it. Don't put your life on the line for something that might or might not work your way.
But there you go,
You know.
Eddie, Frank, Taiwo is ready. He said there, pick up the phone. um, sort of before we finish, what is it? What do you enjoy outside of boxing? Because boxing is all consuming, as you said. It's the food, it's the training, it's the traveling. People don't appreciate
Yeah.
you've sort of got long journeys there and back. It's sort of you've then got work outside of that as well. Outside of all
Yeah.
those things, what is it that you sort of what gets you going in life? What do you enjoy?
A good question. I like privacy. You know, well, I'm starting to get into reading now. I'm trying to start learning to speak a few other languages. Like French is one of my favorite subjects right now. I'm not really into it at the moment, but I'm starting to try and get into learning other languages as well. And just try and be, I'm looking into properties as well with my partner. Just trying to find ways you can invest and put your mind in other things apart from the sport that you're currently doing. You know, my partner, she does teaching on the side when she's not working. So me, I try to do a personal training because I used to be a personal trainer myself as well. So I try to personally train her and maybe some of my other friends as well. You know, I'm still trying to be in that fitness world, not forgetting where you need to be, but where you started from as well. I've always loved fitness all my life, so I might as well stay doing what I love than trying to divert. You know, it's
Love
just
that.
a little small hobbies that I'm picking up. Like I said, reading and learning another language.
I love that. So it sort of broadens the horizons a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Excellent.
100%.
Taiwo, where can people find you if they want to go and find out more about you? Social media or
Right now I'm pretty much on everything. But with Facebook, I don't use Facebook as much, but I'm trying to use it more often because Facebook for me was back in it was like 2009, 10,
yeah,
but
yeah,
now
that's
it's
not
died
my
off a little.
generation. That's not yours. You stay off it. That's old men.
It's died off. It's died off a little bit now, but I have to start using my socials a bit more often, posting on there a bit more. But you can find me mostly on Facebook. Team Titanium is the name. My Instagram page is Titanium T Fitness, which is one word. Same as X, aka Twitter, as well. That's pretty much it, really. I'm not really on anything else at the moment. I'm on YouTube as well, Titanium Boxing.
Brilliant. So people go and find him. And when did you say your next fight is? October? Give people the details for that.
Next fight is 12th of October, which is in 7 or 8 weeks from now. I'm currently in camp for it at the moment, so you're gonna see a few more videos and highlights of that training on my Instagram page. That's why, and TikTok as well. Actually, I'm on TikTok as well, which is Titanium Terror. On there, I'm on TikTok as well. So I'm trying to, advertise my training a little bit more so people can see that I'm actually working than just hiding behind the scenes because people don't like posting their training. And with me, I post my training, but not too much. You don't want to expose yourself too much, but you got to give people a little something. You got to give them that little food on a spoon.
Nah, get the sparring footage on there. That's what I want to see. I've had enough of this idea that people can't post sparring footage. Just put it up. People love it.
Yeah, I know. I like it. I want to put it up as well, but sometimes my coach tells me not to do it. My partner tells me not to do it, but you just get a glimpse of the sparring.
Yeah, good.
The glimpse is better than the whole thing because that shows you. I mean, eventually, when you start fighting, all your fights are going to be online anyway, so people are going to watch you. But give people a surprise. Let them expect the unexpected.
Yeah, just put the bits on where you look great. It's easy that way.
You get that. You get that. No problem at all. You get
Excellent.
that.
Taiwo. So everybody go and follow all those pages. Make sure you're around in October. Go and see the progression as you move towards 3-0. Next 12 months, exciting times, titles on the horizon.
100%. 100%.
Big fights to come. So Taiwo, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate it, man. Have a good day.
You're more than welcome. Take care.
See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.